Oh, and I need to check my phone. Yes. Are we live? Let's see. I sure hope so. Yes, this is absolutely wonderful. Oh, yes, and I already have viewers. Fantastic. I'm waiting for my notifications to come on my phone that we are live. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Doing good. Yes, let's get Facebook. Fabulous. Yes. Okay. Excellent. I always love to make sure that, yes, we're doing good. Let me just turn off my phone. Hello, everyone. It is wonderful to see you all. Thank you all for joining me today. Oh, wonderful. Janet's here from Delaware. Fantastic. Hello. Hello. And Kayla. Oh, wonderful. Hello. Yes, I have some of these. I don't know if I can just move. I love to see notifications of where everybody is from. Oh, yes, from California. Wonderful. Perfect. Thank you. Oh, from Germany. My gosh. Hello. That's wonderful. Yes. Hello, everyone. And thank you so much for joining me today. Yes, I'm Michael Smith, National Education Manager of Janome Canada. And I am back live in the Janome Continental Club for another, I hope, informative and entertaining session. Today, we're going to talk about the differences between the Continental M8 and the CM17, the Continental M17, big top-of-the-line machine, sewing, quilting, and embroidery. The Continental M8 is sewing and quilting, no embroidery, but there's more features that those two machines share and differ more than just embroidery. So I'm going to go over a little bit of that. And of course, the time is just going to race by. So, but you may be wondering, where are you? You don't look like you're in your regular sewing room, as you often see me from my palatial estate in Collingwood. And I'm not in the Janome Sewing and Learning Center, as I sometimes am. There is a wall of machines behind me, but let me reveal where in the world am I? And if I can find, yes, the right buttons, because I'm going to change my camera angle. Where in the world am I? Some of you may, there we are, the lady in question. Yes, Jennifer Tryon.
Hi, everybody.
From Homemade, and I know you all know Jennifer since she does she's a Janome Canada dealer here in Kingston, Ontario. And yes, we're here for the weekend to celebrate her 1-year anniversary of Homemade store. But Jennifer does our Canadian shopping channel on TSC. She does our Janome presentations there, and she also does the shopping channel presentations in America.
Yeah,
HSN.
You're on the American page right now.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
So HSN on Monday. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So it'll be lots of fun here, and I've got the fabulous Amanda Brown with me as well, who you all know too. So we're going to graciously use all of Jen's machines here. There we go. If I can, there we go. So many parts and pieces to adjust. But yeah, so what we're going to do again is to go in and adjust these cameras and get on the machine. There we are. Fabulous. There we go. Back again. So here, Continental M8. How gorgeous. Yes. Now, if you have a Continental M7 and you're wondering about upgrading, why should I get to Continental M8? Well, the fabulous Continental M7 debuted about 5 years ago with this fabulous 13.5-inch throat space. All of the Continental machines, there's now a few of them, Continental M6, M8, CM17. We have the M7 Quilters Collector Series. So there's a number in the Continental range, again, all in that 13.5-inch throat space. We have all this beautiful LED lighting. When people ask, why should I upgrade from one machine to another? Well, it could be advances in technology, certainly advances in lighting. We can adjust each of these lighting portals. There's 4 that we can adjust independently. So lighting is a big improvement over the years, so that's a good reason to upgrade to a new machine. We also have a lot of wonderful bells and whistles, of course, because what I love personally about Janome, it will make, as each they do an entry-level machine, and then they build on that, and they add more stitches and more features as you go up the Janome line. But they also take a lot of those top-of-the-line features, and as new machines come out, they'll put some of those new top-of-the-line features in those other machines that are in a lower price point. So, for example, here is fabulous Continental M8. Well, something that they took from the CM17, very similarly, is an improved needle threader. Now, the CM17 has it fully automated where we just touch a button and it will thread automatically. Here on the M8, we have to still do it manually, but we have this wonderful new threading guide. In this case, it's guide number 9, and there's this big pronounced jaw that's in black. The other machines, they have the little jaw, but they're in gray, and sometimes people would miss putting the thread in that jaw, and that's often why their needle threaders wouldn't work as effectively. So now you really see the thread must go in that jaw of guide number 9. We hang up the thread on the side thread cutter or thread holder, we lock our machine, and then manually, boom, whoops, and manually, and make sure before we lock, needle up, down in the highest position. There we go. And then boom, it works so beautifully every time. But those key things, needle up and down, lock your machine, and yes, the thread must be in that guide number 9 in order for it to work effectively. So that's a big improvement, the improved needle threaders. Now, also, we've got this beautiful 7-inch LCD screen here, like Continental M7. And we have things like, the tactile width adjustment or stitch length adjustments, just like it is on the 6700. And then again, we got it on Continental M7. It's also on the CM17, but now we have them on Continental M8. And they're even on the 9480. So again, Janome takes the same features in many different machines. We've got this fabulous telescoping thread mast. So when the machine comes out of the box, the thread mast can go down. If you're taking it to a class or taking it in for service, then we pull up the telescoping thread mast to its highest position. So we have that optimum thread delivery for the high speed 1300 stitches per minute. That's in all the Continental machines, so that's very good. Now, another new feature to Continental M8, some of the same stitches that are built into the CM17 are now also built into Continental M8. So again, if you had a CM7, why should you upgrade to Continental M8? Well, we've got more stitches, new categories of stitches that we borrow from CM17. Oh, and Miriam is here. Hello. A fabulous Janome America educator, Miriam Coffee. So yes, we go into our little curly Q stitch here for our decorative stitches, for example, and we'll see we now have new categories of these botanicals and these animals and lifestyle and seasons and kids and words. Now, particularly, I love that a lot of these same stitches that are built into other machines like CM7 and 6700, for example, but you didn't know, were they in pictograph, were they in play, where would I find these words? Well, now they're in the words category, so that I really love. And the new category, Mirage stitches, that are built into the CM17. It's one of my most favorite features of the CM17. These Mirage stitches are so fun. Now, when I hold this up here, and again, you can't see any stitches in between. How did we create that? Well, very quickly. I have done other Continental Club lives that you can go back to review how these are created. Basically, we need a piece of stabilizer. We're going to use our F foot or F2 foot, which is the satin stitch foot. And the cool thing about these Mirage stitches, again, we have many that we can choose. I'll do this little teardrop shape. And then we can go into our adjustment key, just like we do on the CM7. And we can adjust the width. Here's the length of those Mirage stitches. And then we can even adjust the length in between the Mirage stitches. Close that up. And it's a really fun technique to use in your garment sewing, tote bags, even quilts, I think would be so fun. So we take our stabilizer, we fold over our fabric right sides together. And the main thing is when we sew, that straight stitch that is connecting these Mirage stitches is going to go on the stabilizer, but the satin stitch that is stitching is going to go half on the fold of the fabric and half onto the stabilizer. So then when we finish our stitching here, and again, you can go back to previous Continental Club lives for more of Mirage stitches. So you see, there we go. And then there is our straight stitch on the stabilizer. So when we pull that out, look at that. Isn't that amazing? You do not see that straight stitch there in between. So that's Mirage stitches. So that is, again, something new on Continental M17, and now we have it on the CM8. So I wanted to also show that, you know, if you have a Continental M7 and you're upgrading to Continental M8, or maybe you want an M8 and a CM17, well, the good thing is no matter what easy set model you have, easy set here refers to the bobbin cover, and then we've got this little remote thread cutter here at the side. So this is what we refer to as the easy set configuration. So the good thing is if you have then your 9mm machines are all easy set, no matter what presser foot you have, or in this case, we've got the fabulous circular attachment, for example, it will fit. You remove the bobbin cover and it fits into the needle plate area. So this is true if you had a Continental M7 and you had the circular attachment, then it will fit in your Continental M8. Or if you had a 15,000 and you upgraded to the CM17, then again, you can use your same attachments. Even your fabulous quilt binder attachment, yes, will fit in. So the great thing is all of these accessories will be able to be used from one machine to another. There are a couple of exceptions, but most of them will totally fit. So that is a big plus. If you're upgrading from one easy set 9mm model to another, you can still use like circular attachment and the quilt binder, which we're going to be doing some demos next tomorrow. We're going to be doing demos here at the fabulous homemade event. We'll be in from 10 till 4, so I'll be demoing quilt binder and demoing the circular attachment. So there'll be lots going on. Now, something that is included with the Continental M8 that everybody wanted. When the CM17 came out, everybody said, oh, that stitch regulator, that AccuStitch stitch regulator, can I get it for my Continental M8? And the answer was, or Continental M7, could I get it for my CM7? The answer, no. But then we came out with Continental M8. So with the Continental M8, we get this fabulous accessory box. We've got lots of goodies. We get our 3 needle plates, zigzag, straight stitch, and HP. So we got lots of accessories and included this beautiful Continental M8 case that comes with their accurate stitch regulator. There is the stitch regulator underneath. It's basically a camera that's reading your fabric. This is the closed toe foot. We have the clear view foot, which I always think looks like the Starship Enterprise. There is the open toe foot, and then the industry first ruler foot that we can use with a stitch regulator. And everything fits very beautifully. In this case, Now, the cool thing is this comes with Continental M8, but you can get this separately for the 9480, for example. Again, Janome takes that top of the line technology of that engineering of the accurate stitch regulator, and they brought it into Continental M8 as well as 9480. It's an optional accessory, but it is compatible. So that's very exciting. That's definitely a big reason why a lot of people upgraded from a Continental M7 to the Continental M8 so they could get the stitch regulator. And again, it comes included with your Continental M8 here in Canada. And then a Continental M6, for example, does not. It is not compatible. So I'm just going to quickly screw this on. Now, I've done lots of presentations. There's other Continental Club lives you can go back to refer that I talk all about how to plug in your stitch regulator. There's a little port at the back of the machine, and that's what the Continental M7 does not have. They had to redesign the guts of the machine basically to include that port. They couldn't just retrofit the machine. So that's why, again, you had to upgrade to a Continental M8 if you wanted the ASR accurate stitch regulator. So it's very fun to adjust. I'm on a new camera stand here, so I'm still learning. But yes, so to adjust, just like in our Continental M7 and for many of our other machines, when we want to ask the machine, basically, we want to tell the machine to do a specific functions. We go into the little t-shirt menu is our sewing applications. And sewing applications is basically saying, well, what do you want to do? So in this case, I want to go into our quilting icon of the hearts and the little feathers there. And what do I want to do? Oh, well, I want to do free motion quilting, which typically I'm not that confident in, but that's the advantage of having a machine with a stitch regulator. It gives you that confidence to try out your free motion quilting. So in this case, the machine recommends, oh, there's the PDH darning foot for this stitch number 1. So we know that's not the stitch that we want to use. So basically, when we want to find out where our stitches for the ASR, we can just, by process of elimination, keep clicking. And when we get to straight stitch number 3, well, there, the icons of the machine show us the presser feet that are recommended, in this case, the QC and QO, that's the closed toe and open toe feet for free motion. But then now we can go to ASR. It has to be plugged into the back of the machine in order for the icon to appear on the screen. We click ASR, now it turns yellow, so we know that it's selected. And then there, the icons of the presser feet are now QC and QO ASR. So there's the closed toe and open toe feet. Now with ASR, accurate stitch regulator, we can adjust stitch length. Typically when we're doing free motion quilting on our own, we are the stitch regulator, but now we can adjust the stitches. Now, as a word of caution though, if you're doing a lot of small little pebbles, for example, you don't want to make your stitches too long because that's going to be a little harder to go all around the curves. So keep them short and tight. But yes, with this ASR, it is so fun. We have one stitch stop, so then we can bring up our bobbin thread and pull, hold on to them, or again, we can hang them up on the side thread cutter, and then away we go. Now the stitch regulator illuminates when it is active, and let me just trim that little thread there, and away we go. So this is, again, the confidence builder training wheels, consider it, for your free motion quilting. Now, if I go really fast, you'll hear a little alarm that, oh yes, there is an alarm to tell you, hey, you're outrunning the stitch regulator. So do slow down, but you can go into your settings and refine it even to make sure that your stitches look just the way you want it. if you see a little bit, oh, sometimes your bobbin thread comes up, well, you can still adjust your tension through the adjust key here on the LCD screen to get it exactly how you would like. So there, that looks pretty good. And then on the back side, oh yes, normally this is when we don't want to see on the back side, but yeah, overall that looks pretty good. So again, it's a great training wheel confidence booster for you. Now, things like, again, accessories, if you had a Continental M7 and if you purchased the optional AccuView magnifiers, then yes, they will work with your Continental M8. There is a little port under, it's about where the remote thread cutter is here at the side. Then there's a little port that it just goes up into the housing, and then look, you can really see so good. There's three different, I called them degrees, and they're not degrees of magnification, but there's three of them basically. So they work. So again, the AccuView optional optic magnifiers do not come with Continental M8, but they are an optional accessory. So if you have the CM7 and you have these, they'll work with your Continental M8. Now, also another big feature that I absolutely fell in love with on my CM17 is, oops, let me move this camera, this thumb wheel. I thought at first it was sort of gimmicky, like what's the big deal about that? Well, the big deal is this thumb wheel is right here in your line of vision. So if you need to raise your presser foot, yes, we could go up here to the presser foot lift and do it automatically. We could select the auto presser foot lift in our settings. But what I really like is, in order to see, again, we've got better visibility of our needle. So in order to see where our needle is, I don't need to always raise and lower my foot. I can just use this thumb wheel to raise my needle, and I can see exactly where it's going to land for my applique, let's say, or when we're doing on the CM17, if we're using embroidery and we need to line up our thread break, for example, then we can use this thumb wheel just to raise the needle and lower it just slightly. We don't have to go up here to always use, like, the needle down button is going to sink the needle all the way into the fabric. Well, maybe we don't want that. We just want it to hover over it. So again, these tactile buttons, great. They're on the CM7, CM17, all of the Continental machines. But then the Continental M8 is the one with the fabulous thumb wheel. So I thought that was really cool. We don't have to reach all the way over to the balance wheel to move that needle. We can just go right up here where all of our buttons are. And then we've got our little thumb wheel right here. So very handy, very convenient. Again, you never know that you're going to use something until you have it. Now here, very quickly, again, on our Continental CM17, that, oh yes, when it debuted, nice big machine, again, still that 13.5-inch throat space. Now, how these machines differ more than just embroidery, we have things like, oh yes, this little open button, and we have a lid on the CM17 here. And then we have the telescoping thread mast, and then I love these, the little knobs that raise these spool pins. So these can collapse, this can collapse in order when we're going to transport the machine, take it to a class or service, or then boom, they just pop up like that. Now, something that was new for the CM17 as well, these magnets, not only do they hold the lid down, but then we have all these magnetic stitch charts. Now there they show the Mirage stitches, for example. So for CM17, we had all of these magnetic stitch charts, and they can just go up here. So on the top of the lid, we see that, oh yes, there's my Mirage category. It's category M. But then when I want to see at a glance what stitches are included, then that's where these magnetic stitch charts came in. So that's for CM17. It's also a great place. Those magnets are also great that you can use there to hold up your screwdriver. You always know where it is. So that is fabulous. So again, many of the same features of the Continental line now that are in CM17. We've got our Mirage stitches, which debuted here. And we have things like, oh yes, again, this thumb wheel when we're doing some embroidery. And again, if we have a thread break and we want to go back and get exactly where we were, and we can hover that needle and make sure, yes, for sure, that's exactly where it needs to be. Now I'm using the PM Precision Marker embroidery foot. It looks similar to, there's our regular embroidery foot, but this is the PM foot that has a light that will shine down onto the fabric for, again, that precise needle placement. And again, we can go into the settings here and adjust exactly where that light is. So we know for sure that's where our needle, exactly where we want our needle to be. Now, if you've never seen the CM17, yes, it's very big with its embroidery, but I love the way these embroidery hoops attach to the carriage. And of course, the CM17, it's big deal. Look at this giant hoop, the RE46D hoop. That was, what is it, 7.9 by 18.2 inch hoop. Huge. So they had to develop an entirely new system for this. But again, I love the way these hoops click into this cup link. I just give it a good click, and then we know it's in. And then to release it, just a quick release and done. So again, if you've got carpal tunnel, any sort of dexterity issues, this is so easy. You don't have to fiddle with a little screw to tighten the hoops. And even here, the ends of all of the hoops, they have the quick release clamp as well. When you're hooping your fabric, it makes it so quick and so easy. Now the CM17, yes, it debuted with that ASR, accurate stitch regulator. There is no separate case for it with the CM17, but you do get this big, beautiful accessory case. And then, oh yes, trays and trays. Of course, you get more with the CM17, more presser feet. Same 3 needle plates though. Lots of accessories though. There's always more. There's 2 USB ports in the CM17. There is 1 USB port in Continental M8. So if you want to, again, import designs, or again, Continental M8, you'll do your created stitches with your Stitch Composer software that's included, and then you will import them into the machine. Or again, you can adjust your screensaver as well using that USB port. So those are kind of some of the big main differences and similarities to the Continental M8 and CM17. Of course, I could go on forever, but that is just a little sneak peek. So let me flip around in my settings here. There's always so much. So yes, wonderful. There I am. Okay, excellent. Oops. I can click that. Okay, perfect. Yes. Thank you everyone so much for joining me today. It has been absolutely fabulous to be here back in your Janome Continental Club live. And yes, Miriam says love Mirage stitches. Yes, me too. They're so fun. So yes, and then you can think, what applications can I do with them? I want to try it for quilt binding. I think would be really fun. But yes, thank you everyone for joining me today in the Janome Continental Club live. And I certainly hope to see you again soon. Have a very fun, fabulous day. And if you're in the Kingston, Ontario area, make sure you stop by tomorrow, 10 to 4, for the fabulous 1-year anniversary event here at the Homemade Store. So have a fabulous day. Bye.